Budgets don't fail, people quit them. And if that line hits a nerve, you're not alone. Most Americans have tried to budget at least once. You download an app, write some numbers down, swear you're going to lock in, and then real life shows up. Groceries cost more than planned, gas jumps overnight. A random bill appears out of nowhere. 2 weeks in, the budget is blown, and you tell yourself the same story. I'm just bad with money. That's the lie we've all been sold. Here's the truth nobody tells you: most budgets are built to fail. They're too strict, too perfect, and completely disconnected from how people actually live. They assume you'll never grab coffee on the way to work, never order takeout after a long day, never deal with car repairs, medical bills, or surprise expenses. So when life happens, the budget breaks and people quit. Not because they lack discipline, but because the system was unrealistic from day one. Budgeting isn't about turning you into a robot. It's about building a plan that fits your real habits, your real income, and your real priorities. A budget should flex when life flexes. It should leave room for fun, mistakes, and adjustments without making you feel broke, guilty, or stressed out. By the end of this video, you're not getting some boring spreadsheet or stop buying lattes lecture. You're getting a simple system that works in the real world, one you can actually stick to month after month. A budget that gives you control, not anxiety, freedom, not frustration. If you've ever quit a budget before, stay with me, this time is different. Most budgets don't even make it past the first month. And it's not because people are lazy or irresponsible. It's because traditional budgets are built for a fantasy version of life that doesn't exist. On paper, everything looks clean and perfect. You assign neat little numbers to groceries, gas, entertainment, and savings, but then real life hits, prices jump. Your car needs repairs, a birthday comes up. Work stress leads to takeout instead of cooking. Suddenly the budget feels like a punishment instead of a plan. For a lot of Americans living paycheck to paycheck, there's already pressure on every dollar. When a budget doesn't leave breathing room, it feels suffocating. One unexpected expense can wipe out weeks of effort. And when that happens, most people don't adjust, they quit. They tell themselves, I already messed it up. So what's the point? That all-or-nothing mindset kills more budgets than overspending ever could. Another reason budgets fail is emotional spending. No one talks about this enough. Money isn't just math, it's mood. Stress, boredom, exhaustion, and even celebration all affect how we spend. Traditional budgets ignore human behavior. They expect perfect discipline in an imperfect world. So when emotions take over, the budget feels impossible to follow. Then there's the boredom factor. Tracking every dollar, cutting everything fun, and staring at the same numbers every day gets old fast. If a budget makes life miserable, nobody sticks with it. Period. Here's the shift most people need to hear. A budget that works is flexible, forgiving, and realistic. It allows adjustments without guilt. It expects mistakes and builds in recovery. A working budget bends instead of breaking. It adapts to your income, your lifestyle, and your priorities. Most people don't need more willpower. They don't need to try harder or punish themselves for past mistakes. They need a smarter system, one that works with real spending habits, not against them. Once you stop chasing perfection and start building flexibility, budgeting stops feeling like failure and starts feeling like control. If you want a budget that actually works, everything starts with one thing: knowing your real monthly numbers, not the numbers you think you spent. Most people guess, they round down, they underestimate. They say things like, I spend about $300 on groceries, or my bills aren't that bad. That guessing game is the fastest way to blow up a budget before it even starts. Let's keep this simple. There are two main types of expenses: fixed and variable. Fixed expenses are the bills that barely change month to month: rent or mortgage, car payments, insurance, phone bills, subscriptions, and minimum debt payments. These are the non-negotiables. They come whether you like it or not. Variable expenses are the ones that move around: groceries, gas, eating out, shopping, entertainment, and random life stuff. These are usually where people lose control because they don't feel consistent, even though they add up fast. Here's the basic concept diagram, in plain words. Money in versus money out. On one side, you've got your income paychecks, side hustles, any money coming in. On the other side, you've got everything leaving your account. If more money is going out than coming in, no budgeting trick in the world will save you. You don't fix that by guessing, you fix it by seeing the truth. Before cutting anything or setting limits, track one full month of spending. Every bill, every swipe, every subscription you forgot existed. No judgment, no changes yet. This isn't about discipline, it's about awareness. Think of it like checking your GPS before starting a road trip. You wouldn't start driving without knowing where you are. Most people are shocked when they do this. That $10 here and $20 there turns into hundreds. That's not failure, that's clarity. Once you know your real numbers, your budget stops being fantasy and starts becoming a tool. This step is the foundation. Skip it, and everything else falls apart.
The 50-30-20 rule is one of the most popular budgeting ideas out there because it is simple and easy to remember, but here is the real talk. Most Americans can't follow it perfectly, and that doesn't mean you're doing money wrong. The rule goes like this: 50% of your income goes to needs, 30% to wants, and 20% to savings or debt payoff. Needs are things like rent, utilities, groceries, insurance, and transportation. Wants are eating out, streaming, shopping, travel, and fun stuff. Savings is your future emergency fund, retirement, or paying down debt. On paper, it looks clean. In real life, rent alone can eat up 40-50 of income for a lot of people, especially in the U.S. right now. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, hearing just save 20% can feel insulting. That is why most people quit budgeting. They think they've failed when the rule doesn't fit their reality. But here's the truth. The rule is a guideline, not a law. Think of 50-30-20 as a starting frame, not a cage. If your rent is high, your needs might be 60%. That's normal. Your wants might shrink to 20% or even 15% for a while. Savings might start at 5% or 10% instead of 20%. That's still a win. Saving something consistently beats saving nothing perfectly. Here's how to bend it without breaking it. First, lock in your needs. If your needs are over 50%, don't panic, just acknowledge reality. Second, protect at least a small savings category, even if it's tiny. A $25 weekly transfer is still progress. Third, keep wants in the picture. Cutting all fun is how budgets die fast. A working budget allows enjoyment without guilt. Flexibility is power, not failure. Your percentages can change as your income changes, debt drops, or rent goes down. The goal isn't to follow the rule, it is to control your money instead of wondering where it went. When you stop chasing perfection and start adjusting to real life, budgeting becomes something you can actually stick with. Pay yourself first sounds like rich people talk, but it is actually one of the simplest money moves regular Americans can use to build real financial momentum. The idea is basic. Saving is not optional leftovers, it is a bill you pay before anything else. Just like rent or your phone bill, it gets paid automatically, no debating, no excuses. This one shift is why wealthy people keep getting wealthier, even when they don't feel like they're trying. Most people do the opposite. They pay bills, spend what they need to spend, treat themselves a little, and then hope there's something left to save. Spoiler alert, there never is. Life expands to eat your money. Groceries cost more. Gas jumps. Something breaks. Waiting to save what is left is how savings stays stuck at zero year after year. It's not a discipline problem, it's a system problem. Paying yourself first fixes that by removing emotion from the equation. You automate your savings the same way your paycheck hits your bank account. The money moves before you can spend it, so you never feel like you're giving something up. You're just living on what remains, and your lifestyle naturally adjusts. Here's a simple example. Say you get paid every 2 weeks. If you automatically save $50 per paycheck, that's $100 a month. In 1 year, that's $1,200 without bonuses, without raises, without trying harder. If you bump that to $75 later, now you're at $1,800 a year. This is how momentum starts. Small, boring, consistent moves beat dramatic money goals every time. The key is treating savings like a non-negotiable bill. Emergency fund, sinking funds, retirement, whatever your priority is, automate it. Start small if you need to. Even $20 per paycheck counts. What matters is consistency, not the amount. This strategy builds hope because it proves something powerful. You don't need a high income to make progress. You need a system that works even when motivation is low. When you pay yourself first, you stop feeling behind all the time. Your money finally starts working for you instead of disappearing on you. And once you see that balance slowly growing, budgeting doesn't feel like punishment anymore, it feels like control. Most budgets don't fail because of math, they fail because they forget one simple truth. You're a human. Cutting out all fun money might look good on paper, but in real life it creates pressure, and pressure always explodes. When every dollar is locked down, every coffee feels like a mistake, every dinner out feels like failure, and eventually you snap. That's when one small treat turns into a weekend spending spiral that blows the entire budget. This is exactly why the guilt-free spending category is not a weakness, it's what saves your budget. Guilt-free spending is money you plan to enjoy on purpose. No tracking it line by line. No shame. No mental gymnastics. It's your permission slip to live a little while still staying in control. Coffee runs, takeout nights, streaming subscriptions, date nights, whatever makes life feel normal. When you plan for enjoyment, you stop rebelling against your own budget. Here's the psychology behind it. When people feel deprived, they don't become disciplined, they become impulsive. A budget that says no to everything creates emotional spending later. A budget that says yes, but with limits, creates consistency. Controlled enjoyment prevents blow-ups because it removes the all-or-nothing mindset. You're not off budget just because you grabbed a latte. You already planned for it. Think of your money like this in simple terms. Needs, goals, and you. Needs keep the lights on. Goals build your future. And you keeps you sane. If you remove that last category, the system collapses. Even $50 to $150 a month set aside for guilt-free spending can make the difference between a budget that lasts and one you quit by week 2. The trick is setting a clear limit and respecting it. When the guilt-free category is empty, it's empty. That's not punishment, that's balance. You enjoyed your money without sabotaging your progress. And because you didn't feel restricted, you're less likely to overspend later. This category also builds trust with yourself. Instead of feeling like budgeting is a constant fight, it starts to feel like a plan you can actually live with. You stop associating money with stress and start associating it with choice. A budget that allows zero joy won't survive real life, but a budget that plans for fun, that's the one people stick to. And sticking to the budget imperfectly but consistently is what actually changes your financial future.
If your paycheck changes every month, most budgeting advice feels like a joke. Gig workers, freelancers, hourly employees, tip workers, you hear just budget your income and think, yeah right. 1 month you're good, the next month you're sweating bills. Traditional budgets ignore this reality, and that's why so many people feel broken by money systems that were never built for them. The truth is, you don't need a perfect paycheck to build a working budget, you need a smarter approach. The first rule of budgeting with inconsistent income is this: build your budget on a low month baseline. Not your best month, not your average month. Your worst realistic month. Look back at the last 6 to 12 months and find the lowest income you can usually survive on. That number becomes your base. Your rent, food, utilities, gas, insurance, those must fit inside that low number. It sounds scary at first, but it's actually freeing. You stop gambling with your bills. Now here's where the magic happens. When you earn more than your baseline and you don't treat it like free money. You buffer it. Extra income goes into a buffer fund, not lifestyle upgrades. This buffer smooths out the rough months so your life doesn't swing from I am rich to I am broke every 30 days. Over time, that buffer becomes your financial shock absorber. Think of your income in 2 layers. Layer 1 is survival income, the baseline that covers life. Layer 2 is bonus income, everything above that. Bonus income has a job. Refill the buffer, pay down debt, boost savings, or fund future goals. This mindset keeps you calm when income dips because you already planned for it. Another key move is paying yourself weekly, not randomly. When money comes in, don't spend it all at once. Transfer a set weekly amount to checking just like a paycheck. This creates structure and reduces impulse spending. Consistency beats chaos. And let's be real, irregular income often comes with stress. That stress leads to emotional spending. A flexible budget with a buffer gives you breathing room. You stop reacting to money and start directing it. This system works because it respects real life. No guilt, no shame. No pretending your income is stable when it's not. Budgeting with inconsistent income isn't about control, it's about stability. And once stability shows up, confidence follows. The envelope system sounds old school, like something your grandparents did with cash stuffed into paper envelopes. But the idea behind it is still one of the smartest money moves out there, and when you modernize it for digital life, it becomes even more powerful. At its core, the envelope system is simple. You give every dollar a job before you spend it. When an envelope is empty, spending stops. No guessing, no guilt, just clear boundaries. Here's the upgrade. You don't need cash or literal envelopes anymore. Your bank accounts and apps are the envelopes. Start with one main checking account for income, then create digital buckets for categories like groceries, gas, dining out, entertainment, and personal spending. Many banks let you open multiple checking or savings accounts for free, or you can use budgeting apps that separate funds visually. The method doesn't matter, the limit does. Let's say you set for $100 for groceries this month. That money goes into your grocery bucket. When the balance hits zero, you're done shopping. Not because you're broke, but because you already decided. This removes emotional decision-making in the moment. You're not standing in Target trying to justify a $60 impulse buy. The envelope already answered for you. Visual limits are the real secret sauce here. When you see money in separate buckets, your brain treats it differently. A big balance in one account feels like permission to overspend. Smaller, labeled balances feel intentional. That's why the envelope system works so well. It turns abstract money into clear rules you can see. You can go simple or detailed. Some people use one account per category. Others use one checking account plus a budgeting app that tracks categories in real time. Either way, the goal is the same. Stop blending your money together. Blended money disappears fast, organized money sticks around. This system also saves you from budget burnout. You're not tracking every penny obsessively, you're just checking balances. It's fast, it's practical, it fits real life. And if you mess up one month, you don't quit, you reset the envelopes and keep moving. The modern envelope system isn't about restriction, it's about clarity. When your money has clear boundaries, spending becomes calmer, smarter, and way less stressful. That's how budgets finally start to work. Most budgets don't fall apart because of one bad purchase, they fall apart because people treat budgeting like a one-time setup instead of an ongoing habit. That's where monthly budget check-ins change everything. This is the secret sauce that makes a budget actually stick long-term. Not restarting, not scrapping the whole plan. Just reviewing and adjusting like a normal human with a real life. A monthly check-in isn't about judging yourself or replaying every mistake. It's about asking a few honest questions. What worked? What didn't? What surprised me? Maybe groceries, and over because prices jumped. Maybe gas was higher because you drove more. That doesn't mean you failed. It means your budget needs a tweak. Budgets are supposed to bend, not break. The biggest mindset shift is this: you don't quit a budget, you update it. Think of your budget like a GPS. If you miss a turn, it doesn't scream at you and shut off. It reroutes. Monthly check-ins are your reroute moment. You adjust categories, not your self-worth. Set a specific time once a month, same week, same vibe. Grab a coffee, pull up your bank app, and look at the big picture. Compare what you planned to what actually happened. If one category keeps blowing up, increase it and reduce another. If something feels tight every month, that's a signal, not a failure. Real budgets reflect real habits, not fantasy versions of ourselves. This process also helps you spot wins you'd otherwise miss. Maybe you spent less eating out. Maybe you saved more than you thought. Those small wins build momentum. When people say budgeting is too depressing, it's usually because they never pause to notice progress. Check-ins turn budgeting from punishment into feedback. Another key move: plan for the next month before it starts. Use what you learn to set smarter numbers. If your budget evolves with you, it stays relevant. If it stays rigid, you'll eventually ignore it. Here, ask the truth most finance advice skips. Budgeting isn't a test you pass or fail. It's a process you refine. Monthly check-ins keep you in the game without burnout. No drama, no quitting, just small course corrections that add up over time.
That's how a budget stops feeling temporary and starts becoming part of your life. Let's break it down like a normal middle-income US household, because budgeting only works when it's real. Not some fantasy scenario. Imagine a family bringing in $4,000 a month after taxes. Rent hits $1, $200, groceries $500, gas $200, utilities $250, and subscriptions $100. That's $2,250 in essential fixed expenses, leaving $1,750 for everything else: savings, fund money, unexpected costs. Sounds tight? Totally, but here's where a practical, flexible budget comes in and actually makes life less stressful. First, they tackle savings like a non-negotiable bill, using the pay yourself first strategy. $1 for $100 goes automatically into a savings account each month. That's just $200 per paycheck. But by automating it, they never have to debate whether to save or spend. Next comes guilt-free spending. They allocate $200 for coffee runs, takeout, and entertainment. The key here is planning for fun so there's no guilt or blow-ups. The rest, $150 is distributed across variable expenses like extra groceries, gas spikes, and small emergencies. Here's the beauty: flexibility. Let's say 1 month groceries spiked to $600 because prices went up. They don't panic. Instead, they trim $50 from guilt-free spending and $50 from an underused category like subscriptions. The total monthly budget still balances without cutting essentials or sinking into debt. That's the point. A real budget adapts. It doesn't punish. They also do a monthly check-in. At the end of the month, they review every category, see where adjustments are needed, and plan the next month accordingly. This could mean increasing gas if they rate driving more, or boosting savings if a windfall comes. Nothing is perfect, but the system works because it's built for real life. Even small wins matter. They notice they only spent $150 on guilt-free fun, which frees up $50 to boost savings. Seeing progress keeps them motivated, and the budget becomes a tool, not a cage. This approach proves that anyone on a normal US income can make a budget stick. The secret? Real numbers, flexibility, automation, and check-ins. No fantasy, no shame, no extremes, just a system that works with life as it actually happens, helping families save, spend wisely, and feel confident month after month. Let's be real, most people think budgets are chains, something that controls you, forces you to say no to every fun thing, and makes life miserable. But here's the truth: a budget is meant to work for you. not against you. It's not about restriction. It's about control. When you know where your money is going, you're not guessing. You're making choices that align with your life. That's freedom, not punishment. Start messy, because no one's budget is perfect on the first try. Write down your expenses. Track them. See where your money actually goes, not where you think it goes. Some weeks you might overspend on takeout. Other weeks you save big on groceries. That's normal. The key is monthly adjustment. Each month, check in. See what worked, what didn't, and tweak. Maybe your gas budget was too low because of winter driving. Maybe you can cut a little from subscriptions. A flexible budget keeps you in control while still letting life happen. Consistency beats perfection every time. Showing up to your budget each month even when it's messy is what creates long-term stability. When you automate savings, track spending, and adjust regularly, it stops feeling like work and starts feeling like a tool that actually makes life easier. You're not giving up fun. You're making room for the things that really matter, whether that's paying off debt, saving for a trip, or finally having a little peace of mind. I want you to take action today. Comment below with your biggest budget struggle. What trips you up? What makes you quit? What you wish you could fix? I read every comment, and it helps me make future videos that actually help you. Next up, we'll dive into how to save money faster without making more money, because that's the real power move. Remember, your budget should empower you, not frustrate you. Start messy, adjust constantly, stay consistent, and watch how your money starts to work with you instead of against you. You've got this, you're in control now, and that control is your ticket to freedom. Momentum builds from action, and the first step is just starting. Don't wait. Start today, stay consistent, and take back control of your finances.